Chelsey and the Green Haired Kid, Chapter 6. Hey, Chelsey, someone's here to see you. Amy scampered into my room and landed on my bed with a thump. Who is it? I asked, my heart skipping a beat. Could it be Ron from Max Pizza? Would he dare walk up to the front door and ask for me? Paula, Amy said, taking a bite out of the crisp apple she was holding. Oh, I said, relieved. Tell her to come on in. How can you eat after all that pizza? Amy got off the bed and skipped out of the room. Daddy says I have a hollow leg, she called back over her shoulder. I've been sitting at my desk trying to concentrate on my English homework ever since we'd come back from Max. But let me tell you, trying to concentrate on prepositional phrases while someone is probably plotting a fatal accident for you is practically impossible. If Ron murdered Jerry and I was sure that he did and he knew that I saw it all happen, wouldn't it make sense that he wanted to get rid of me too? I was really scared. Hi, Chelsey, Paula said, stopping in the doorway. Hi, I said. What's up? Well, I had to go to the orthodontist this morning and I missed Irwin's science class. So I thought I'd drop by and get the assignment. Oh, we read a couple of pages in the text and then answered questions at the end of the section. It was pretty easy. For you, Paula said, rolling her eyes upward. For you too, I said. I do pretty well in school, but I'm no brain, and Paula gets very good grades when she wants to. Paula grinned and plopped down on my bed. The assignment was the excuse I used to get over here. The real reason is because I heard something today that will really blow your mind. I had to come over and tell you. Oh, sorry, students. Okay, hold on. Okay. What? I asked. Most of the gossip around school usually runs through Paula at some point. I have to admit, while I don't always spread what I hear, I really enjoy listening to the stories going around about the kids at school. Paula licked her lips and leaned toward me. Remember the other day at lunch when you talked to the green haired Smith kid? My heart skipped a beat and I nodded. I told you that day he was weird. Just wait till I tell you what I'd heard about him. What? I asked. Well, my cousin lives in River Falls and we went to school with him. That's where Smith comes from. I talked to her on the phone tonight, and I just happened to mention we have this green haired kid at school, and we realize he's the same one. Yes, Smith was always in trouble at school and even with the police, Paula said, lowering her voice and narrowing her eyes. What do you mean? Well, the biggest thing was a charge of assault with a deadly weapon. He was in a fight and nearly killed a kid with a knife. And anytime something was missing, he was always the chief suspect. I don't know if they ever pinned theft on him or not, but everyone knew he's stolen stuff. He was suspended all the time for skipping school, and he asked you to skip school with him right in the middle of the day. Oh, I said, yes. He comes from a really bad home. Bad in what way? I asked. Well, he doesn't have a father for anyone. For one thing, my bad students, okay? I know some kids who don't have fathers living with them, but their homes aren't bad at all, I pointed out. Yeah, but Jack's never had a father. His mother never got married, and she's a drunk, Paula said, looking as if she'd proved her point. Oh, I said, feeling rotten. Smith and his mom probably moved here after he got into so much trouble in the other town. Paula flopped down on the bed on her stomach and propped herself up on her elbows. I told you he was weird. I just knew we'd hear something like this about him. Yeah, I said, and Paula didn't know half of it. Well, you'd better stay away from him. He could be dangerous, Paula said. I saw Debbie Barton on the way over here, and I told her about Jack Smith. So, it'll be all over school by tomorrow. All the kids will be talking about him. I bet he'll wish he hadn't moved here. Yeah, I said, I wouldn't want to be in his place. You wouldn't be in his place, Paula said, getting up from the bed. Well, I guess I'd better get home. I told Mom I'd just be a few minutes. Okay, I said. Well, thanks for coming over, Paula. Well, I couldn't let the juiciest gossip of the whole school year go by without telling you about it, Paula said. See you at school tomorrow. And if you see Jack Smith, you'd better head in the opposite direction. Okay, I said. After she left, I transferred myself to my bed, picked up my guitar, and absent mindedly strummed a few chords. My guitar lesson was the next day, but I just couldn't concentrate on the music. Normally, my music cheers me up, but that night it didn't work. I was scared and sad both at the same time. Scared because the guy at Max knew who I was, and sad because of what Paula had just told me about Jack. If Jack could cut up a kid in a knife bite, he could be involved in Jerry's murder. And I'd just seen him with the murderer. But in spite of everything I'd heard about Jack, I still like him in a way. I don't know why. It was very confusing. Suddenly, I was startled by the ringing of the telephone on my nightstand. I laid my guitar on the bed and grabbed up the receiver. Hello, I said. There was silence on the phone. Hello, I said again. Again, silence. I was about to hang up when he finally spoke, a low, whispery kind of voice. I know where you live, he said. What? I said, knowing who it must be. I know where you live, the voice repeated. And if you don't start minding your own business, I'll have to set up a little accident for you. Who is this? I stammered, feeling my heart hammering into my ribs. You don't know what you're getting into, the husky voice said, and the line went dead. I hung up the phone, my hands shaking uncontrollably. I lay on the bed trembling and played and replayed the telephone conversation over in my mind. And of course, that call must have come from Ron, the manager at Max, the man who pushed Jerry Fields off the bleachers at the game. He had just found out where I live by the address on my dad's check, and he knew the phone number. He saw me at the game, and the waitress had told him I was asking questions about Jerry's work schedule. The call should have come from Ron, but it didn't. I had recognized the voice, even though it was low and whispery, and he said just what he'd said to me once before. You don't know what you're getting into. It was Jack, and he said he was planning an accident for me.